It was like watching Beavis and Butthead with hangovers. I couldn't get anything out of it. Oh man, fuck these bitches. 420 in the chat room, yo. Jesus Christ, mindless drivel. But hey, if that's your thing, that's what you do. How to recognize an idiot. If you didn't know, there are some ways. Now, one of the first things an idiot will do that's angry is they will use projection. This is a common term in psychology, one of the best understood there is out there. Made popular not only by behavioralists like B.F. Skinner, but humanists like Carl Jung and other humanists and integral psychologists who said that when someone goes in for the attack and they're not very educated, the easiest thing for them to throw at you essentially is what they already know about themselves that's bad. Why? Because that's where they've had their experience hearing these bad things about themselves. And it's even like Debbie said, and she was right about this, when someone attacks you, it's usually coming from a place of pain. I mean, they've been, they didn't get loved as a kid, or they got their asses beaten all the time in school, whatever it was. And when you understand that, it does help you look at things a little bit differently. Personally, I mean, I'm just, it's very hard to know these things that I know, and I feel an immediate sympathy for the person involved. But I also feel, I'm a man. I don't fuck around. If you're going to fuck with me, you're going to get fucked with back. That's so predictable about me. You can write that down in any book you have. What's going to happen if I fuck with Kevin January 17th, 2024? I'm going to fuck with you back. Well, what's going to happen if I fuck with Kevin February 4th, 2029? I'm going to fuck with you back. And that's going to be every time. Every single time. That's predictable about me. Not everything is predictable about me. That is. You can bet on that. I'm one of those guys, and I think that's part of what people like about me, is they know that when I say I'll do something, I'll do it. And if somebody shows up here and wants to get stupid, I will go adjust their attitude for them in a forceful nature. That's not a problem. I've got that time for you. Go ahead and show up. Anyway, these little idiot children of Spreaker, I'm encouraging those of you that have shows that are relatively neutral, or if your show is even part of a network but you haven't engaged in what I'll go ahead and call network warfare, since I haven't heard the term yet. If you're involved in network warfare, that's one thing. If you're not, I want to encourage you to stay out of it. I've seen people hurt by this. I've got the power to hurt people with this right now, and I'm not going to use it if I can at all avoid it. I have to be poked in the chest sometimes 40, 50 times before I'll take drastic actions. It just depends on what the nature of the offender is and what the nature of the offense is. So if the bully mentality comes out, I come out swinging. I'm not even hesitating. But if they're just picking and prodding and poking, and I get people coming into my show and leaving nasty comments, I leave them in there. I don't delete them. I don't even ban them. I let them, because what I find is that people who understand and appreciate an intellectual, at least an intellectually charged show, if not a full intellectual broadcast, is they will recognize the stupidity of somebody that comes in acting like a douchebag. And I can trust them to recognize that. I don't have to explain it to them. When you have to explain everything to your audience, I have questions about you and your audience. That's what I'd say. Yeah, so I let you guys think so. I know you appreciate that about my show. Like the little quiz I gave you last night. Anyway, this is the way I put an issue to bed. I'm done dealing with Goofy Bone until he decides he wants to come out to Virginia. Till then, I don't want anything to do with his mindless games. He has nothing. He has, let's pick on this person and smoke a joint. That's his game. Write it down. Okay, you tune in to Goofy Bone show in 2 weeks or 2 years. Here's what you're going to get. Fuck them welfare bitches. Smoke a joint with me. That's what you're going to get. And that's all you're going to get. And if that's what you like, I hope you overdose on it. Enjoy. That's your thing. Not enough for most people, though. It's not enough for most people. And I'm going to soar past Goofy Bone. And this is the irony I was talking about earlier. I don't care if I soar past anybody. But he seems to care about status on Spreaker. To me, that's like saying, I don't know, I've got the biggest John boat and there's a tidal wave coming. You're still nothing. I don't care how big you are on Spreaker until you get to where you're bringing in cash money and you got people syndicating your show and trying to join it and get it into formal terrestrial networks. You're nothing. So I don't get into that kind of competition on Spreaker. I don't care what my numbers are. The only reason I even brought it up is because he said in a tweet that I was a nobody, and I'm like, who you telling? I tell everybody I'm a nobody. But it also means that you're worried about being a somebody. This is what you can use. This is called using principles of reason if you want to use inductive and deductive logic. This is inductive logic. You can learn what someone's thinking by what they're saying about the opposite of what they're thinking. It's really pretty simple when you put it into practice. So he's worried about his status on Spreaker or whatever. I think he's on Blog Talk Radio now, which I hear is where radio hosts go to die. I don't know. I started out there and immediately fled, but I don't know. I don't know. I like it here on Spreaker. This is my little thing. This is my little social thing. I enjoy it. This is how I socialize. I don't get out much. I have to go out once in a while and whoop a little ass, but I try to keep that down to a few times a year. You know, so I can put all, kind of like boxers, you want to put all your effort into a good fight. Kim will tell you, if there's one thing I cannot stand, it's a goddamn cigarette that will not stay lit. But at least you won't burn your house down, drunks. Know this, if you go and pass out because you drank too much Pabst Blue Ribbon, and now you've got a cigarette on your chest, you're not going to burn your nipple hair or burn the house down, because Philip Morris has ensured us now that a cigarette will not stay lit longer than 7 seconds. Thank you, Philip Morris. Do appreciate that. Now, if you'll kindly help me reverse my lung cancer, we can move along. My knee is saying to me right now, hey, Kev, you realize you're on the porch, right? Yeah, you need to get the fuck up out of here. I'm missing a Capitals game for this dumb shit. But I had to do a reference show, and I had to do a close the chapter show. And this chapter really can be titled, and I'm not going to spend much more time at it, but I'm not going to worry about the children of Spreaker anymore. Yeah, I'm going to let them say all they want to say until they come local. When they come local, then I will take them seriously. And I promise, come local if you got something to say to me to my face, and I'll take you seriously. Till then, I can't. You're just, you know, I hope you're giving your audience something they enjoy, because that's a win-win. I can't imagine that you are, if you're as intellectually challenged as someone like Goofy Bone, but maybe he's got something, maybe he's got some kind of animal care charisma that he's using to appeal to a certain crowd. I don't know. I mean, Mekazawa made it clear earlier that if you have scripting, you can manipulate numbers on Spreaker. So I suppose you could probably create fake listeners too, at least as would be recorded by internet recording servers that are designed to record traffic and presence of listeners. So maybe he doesn't have any listeners at all. I don't know. I have to believe that, everybody has there's room for everybody in radio. I do know that, because so many shows suck, and his being one of them. And I can't help but wonder where someone goes from a show like Goofy Bone. I mean, because if you found entertainment in a show like that, you can't leave there, because everything else is going to be too hard for you. Really, you're stuck there. Once you're a Goofy Bone fan, you're a Goofy Bone fan. You're staying there. You live there. That's a puddle in the middle of a busy highway. And if you raise your head out, you're going to get run over. So stay in the puddle and enjoy wallowing around in it, while the rest of us swim in the big blue ocean and enjoy each other's company. How to Recognize an Idiot by Julian Smith. I'm going to share the link right now. And again, I want to remind you, Air Force veterans, that Mekazawa says you're pussies. Yeah, you might want to get in touch with him about that. I don't know. I see a lot of people are in the chat room. I haven't even been paying attention in chat. Wow, it's a war in there. Have fun, guys. I encourage you to. I'm putting this issue behind me until any of you pussies decide to show up here. Until then, fuck off. Yeah. Mekazawa has... Yeah, he's... I don't know. I don't know much about him, so I don't feel right picking on him. I know a little bit more about Goofy Bone. I just know that they're all of a similar breed. And that is someone who is incredibly limited in intellectual scope, and someone who's not interested in anything other than creating drama. And if you enjoy that kind of thing, for example, if you're a Jersey Shore fan, you'd probably like their shows. I encourage you to go check them out. For anybody that needs something a little more stimulating than that, you might not like my show. Sometimes I move too slow, but there are other shows on Spreaker and other networks that would probably keep you entertained. If Jersey Shore, a.k.a. MacaroniIowa, Goofy Bone, and Pimpfag aren't doing it for you. Because they are the children of Spreaker, and they're always going to be. You don't get to be 35 years old or whatever and then grow up. That's not going to happen. They are who they are. You're going to get a low level of value. Value really is what it's all about. Now, if you want entertainment, I was talking last night about how if someone had 10 or 12 different personalities, I mean truly divided personalities, someone that was totally psychologically disturbed, you probably could get some enjoyment out of that, just watching them do what they do. I mean, it would be, like I said, a hidden camera in a mental hospital. Who wouldn't want to watch that? But there's going to come a time when your brain begins to, it's almost like an itch. It's like, I got to have something. This is interesting, but it's, it kind of feels like picking my nose. It's like, I know I need to do it. It might even be a little bit enjoyable when it's happening. After all, you're winning at one of the proverbial battles in life. You're clearing out a passageway for oxygen. But then the boogers are out, and hopefully you've used a tissue paper. And now you're ready to move on to something a little more challenging than picking your nose. So I encourage you, if you're bored by the children of Spreaker, and there are a few out there, I tell you, I was surprised to see so many. I thought when I first came to Spreaker that there was going to be this wide variety of shows with everybody on there. I was thinking, these people have radio shows. I mean, they must be amazing. And I realized that some people will go on an internet radio show and talk about nothing. Literally. Now, I'm not talking about the guys that play music. I don't know why you'd want to come on and spin disc when you have copyright issues and anybody can just listen to the radio to hear what you're doing. I'm not sure why you would do that. But you have your reasons. Maybe you have a dream. You want to be a DJ. You want to be a wedding singer. And that's cool if that's your thing. But I think I overestimated what I would find at Spreaker. I really did. And again, let me just say that the good host, the fast host, the smart host, they have surprised me. They're even better and faster than I thought they might be. I don't know why some of these people aren't in the big time. But the slow hosts, they did surprise me. I didn't think they'd be allowed on the radio. I guess it's a freedom of speech thing, but how they talk themselves into doing another show after the last failure just baffles me. I would have vacated. If I was Goofy Bun, I would have vacated after my second or third show. I would have said, fuck this, it isn't for me. But we have a different measure for success, see? So that's how we gauge our own actions, efforts, and rewards. And that's the way it's going to be. So let me encourage you, if you're in a neutral network or a semi-positive network, that you avoid the children of Spreaker. And tonight I'm specifically talking about MacaroniIowa, Goofy Bone, and Pimpfag. You don't want to tangle up with the kids in school who will not go to class and who just sit in the corner and smoke the crack. Okay? Look, everybody might have smoked a little crack. I haven't, but hey, I've missed out on a few other things too. But when you just smoke the crack, even Cat Williams said, y'all niggas know when you done got too high. Well, that's Goofy Bone. That nigga done got too high. He just stayed too high. Yeah. So, quoting Cat Williams there, don't hate me too much for that. I actually like him as a comedian. I do not like him as a philosopher, because when he gets into religion and evolution, we have a problem. Yeah, carbon dating and all is a bitch. And it's a real bitch. When people don't, Guy and I were talking about that earlier. People don't, there's some religious people that do not want to talk about science, don't want to talk about it. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. They've got a view of the world. It's about to be completely upset by something with evidence. It's the same reason that someone who listens to a Goofy Bone show needs to stay in that show. Just stay there. Stay in your lane. That's where life is comfortable. I encourage that. Stay there. And I hope that, if people try to listen to more intellectually stimulating or challenging shows and they just can't keep up, go over to a Goofy Bone. That's the one you can keep up with. It's kind of like, if life is Harvard, he's Romper Room. So, Romper Room, I can do that. Isn't that where the kids jumped around and yelled silly things, lots of vowels? Yep, that's about it. That's about it. So you can go do that. But I personally am going to vacate the idea